to ya. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, good people? How y'all doing out there? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, aka Key Lolo in the heezy. That's right, it's feeling good and breezy. And over here, y'all know who that be, right? That's my cool BMF. That's right. Y'all know what BMF stand for. My PNC, the one and only, the illustrious. That's right. Incomparable. Can I say that again? Incomparable. Cheryl Morrow, who I always say is unapologetically brilliant. And boy, do we have a hot podcast and live stream for you. I'm telling you, you guys are going to love it. What's happening, BFF? I see you. We got ATL is in the house. Y'all come on through. I see them numbers coming up. Y'all better come on in here, hit that like button, because I'm telling you right now, this one is going to be good. I feel like I'm like, ooh, this is the big trifecta. The heat damage. This is something that everybody wants to talk about. It is officially our 71st episode, and we are so excited. Cheryl's got some wonderful slides. Y'all know what I got. I got a whole lot of damn trouble. Y'all know me. I'm going to be starting some shit today. Cheryl like, ooh, that girl. What's up, Theo? I always say, hey, Theo, you got to call me up and tell me how to pronounce your name, because I want to say it. I want to say it. What's up, Miss Foster? How you doing? How you doing? Hold on. My boss is in the chat. Y'all know what that means, right? You got to drop them L's. What's happening, boss? How you doing out there? Hey, Savant, what's happening? I'm sorry. You are right. Excuse me, I have been corrected. Harris Savant said Cheryl is not only BMF, aka unapologetically brilliant, but she is the hair oracle. So Cheryl, I am going to right now, so I don't get in any trouble. Here you go, Harris Savant. It's official. She is the official. Bam! There it is, hair oracle. This is how we do it up here on this podcast. Sure, like there it is, Savant. How you like that? There it is, the hair oracle. Monica is in the chat. She is going to be our official moderator, and she's going to help keep the conversations going nice and juicy. But we're going to play our theme song by the one and only Rachel Evans. As we wait for a couple of more people to come in, I want you guys to get your Kool-Aid or your wine or your H2O, your vino. Maybe y'all might have some Patrona up in the heezy. All right, here we go. Let's make it happen. Hey. Let me put some volume on that. All right, we got the lovely Rachel Evans. Sister, let me do your hair. We always like to let you guys know you can download this song, and you can check her out on your Amazon Prime and all that good stuff. But here it is, Sister Rachel Evans.
You are beautiful, respectful, very special. You are wonderful. I want to help you. Let me help your light to shine through.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Very happy. Sing it, y'all. Come on, y'all know by now.
Let me do your hair.
Hey, sing it, y'all. Let me do your hair. I know y'all like those. You need to get your hair did, but I ain't doing it today. Nope, it ain't happening. Lavinia said, Lavinia, you ain't got no wine. Hold on. No key Lolo. Come on, y'all. Pop some champagne today. Come on, y'all. Pop the champagne.
Of what you've been through, heartache and struggles won't get the best of you. I want to help you. Let me help your light to shine through.
Hey, we'll be so very happy.
If you
If you
let
would
me
let
do
me
your
do your hair.
hair.
All right, y'all gonna let us heat damage your hair today. Come on, y'all.
Let me
And
do
let us
your
heat damage your
hair.
hair. We gonna fix it.
Let me do your hair.
Come on, y'all go to a hair salon, a barber shop. All
Let
right.
me do your hair.
Hey. Y'all hear that jazzy saxophonist?
I know, right?
I love that part. I just want to get in the car. And I ain't got no boo. I gotta find me a boo before the summer over. I still ain't got no damn boo. Damn. All right, y'all. We just gonna close that out.
Let me
Let
do
me
your
do your
hair.
hair.
Let me
Let
do
me
your
do your
hair.
hair. Let us do your hair, please. Come on, come on, come on. Let us do your hair. Let us do your hair. Again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Maybe you are new to our platform. Maybe you are returning. Again, I'm Ladosha Wright, aka Key Lilo. And over there, that's my PNC, my unapologetically partner, the one and only, the illustrious Cheryl Morrow, the hair oracle. That's right. She's like, I know y'all can't be serious, but we are serious. So today, this is our 71st live stream, podcast, and all that good stuff. And so today we're going to be talking about heat damage. Before we get into the topic of heat damage, y'all know we got to do our current events. I know if you live in America, then you know what today is. If not, maybe you're watching us from abroad and you're not quite sure why 9/11 is a very, very sad day in American history, because that is the day that those planes, crash into those twin towers and the Pentagon. Does anybody in the chat remember where they were on 9/11? I forgot what year that was. Cheryl, do you remember where you were when 9/11 happened? Were you in New York then?
I had just left, and my building was next door that I went to work for. Like,
No,
it's
was
the
it?
it's the Bank of New York building. It's the building that had the up. It has a up like a stair top. It goes down like that, and it's right next to One World Trade. I went to work for the Bank of New York. Yeah, I was responsible for moving all their money to the Federal Reserve.
Wow, thank you, Angel. What's happening? What's up, Angel and Miss Foster? It was 2001. Wow.
I had
Um,
just got back to California.
yeah, I never met anybody who was that close to what happened, but I remember I was at work. I was outreach worker, and man, we left work and we ran home to get our children, and the school was like a madhouse. Monica, you were down in Cleveland, Ohio at Erie View Plaza. It was a sad. The one thing I remember about that day more than anything, do you remember he used to be on the Russ Parr. Anybody remember Russ Parr? I don't know. Is he still on the radio, the Russ Parr show? No, there used to be a very popular radio show called the Russ Parr Show, and so I mean, he was very, very before Tom Joyner. It was the Russ Parr Show, and I just remember he was on the air and he was just crying when those towers fell. It was just unfreaking believable. You were getting ready for class and it passed your TV. Oh, you remember him? Yes, he was very, very popular. I don't know what happened to him. He might still be DJing, but or a radio person. I don't think he was a DJ, but he could have been. I don't know. But he used to be the man back in the day. And oh man, he was just crying and crying, and I couldn't believe it. I just did not want to believe that that had happened. So, of course, definitely our prayers to the family who lost, all those families who lost their loved ones, the survivors who are still struggling today. A lot of people are definitely, still struggling. So 9/11, if you are here in America, we know this was not a good day. That was one of those days when the earth stood still, like no joke, for real, for real. And if you're, watching us from abroad, of course, you can probably go on YouTube and just find out so much more, because there were so many conspiracy theories behind the 9/11 attacks. But whatever it was or wasn't, it was nothing nice. Those people who, made them crash the plane so that they, it was just so much heroism, in that day. So our hearts and our prayers go out, with all due respect, to people who lost, all those first responders. People went in and died, and some people got out and they never came back out. I saw a lot of documentaries on so many unsung heroes, and that so many people have cancer. You just hear so much stuff from 9/11 that happened. Again, thank you, Miss Foster and Angel, in 2001. Here it is, 2023, and people are still feeling that. But another thing that people are feeling is the equalizer. It's still ranking up there. If you haven't gone to see The Equalizer, go check it out. I saw it. It was very, very good. So I guess Denzel still has some fire under them acting skills. I thought it was pretty good. And speaking of fire, Rashida, see how the universe works it out. Come through, Jesus. Come through. Because Rashida came in. Them Steelers lost. But guess who won? Where my Browns fans at? Woo, 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 woo. Ooh, the Browns, we got it in. Ooh, we better the cardiac kids, because you never know. I'm telling you right now, the Browns was on fire. The scoreboard. Check the scoreboard, Rashida. Come on, who all went to high school? Check the scoreboard. Check the scoreboard. The Browns, whoop, 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 was on fire, on fire, on fire. And so the topic today is going to be on a fire. Lena, you said you was at the same place Monica was? Oh, wow. Wow. Look at that. In the chat, 9/11, two people in the chat was at the same place in Cleveland, Ohio. So 9/11 was definitely a sad day. But the Browns won, okay? And so they were on fire. So the topic today is heat. That's right. Heat damaged hair. All right. So Cheryl, I'm going to play a little clip. We're going to hop right into the topic. Anybody in the chat have ever had any experience with heat damage? Just drop in the chat, me, or maybe you're a cosmetologist and you've seen a lot of heat damaged hair. Drop that in the chat and let us know. We need to know how many people in here are familiar with heat damage. And if not, we're going to help you guys out today. But let me play this clip about heat damage. I think you guys are going to find this is a funny clip. I like to go to TikTok, right? So here we go. This one actually came off of YouTube. So here we go.
You know what I'm saying? We got that slick red, beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Long hair. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Oh. That escalated quickly. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? She's snipping this. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta cut it, baby. You gotta let it go, baby. You know what I'm saying? It gonna grow back. Don't even worry about it, baby. You know what I'm saying? Probably water eyes right now and probably crying your life away. Listen, baby. It's okay. It's gonna grow back. You know what I'm talking about? Don't even worry about it. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, personally, I would never cut my hair. You know what I'm saying? But different journey. I'm gonna shut up. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? She doing that right now. You dig what I'm saying? Look like she in a salon, obviously. You know what I'm saying? She got the mini fro. Ain't nothing wrong with that, sure.
The dumbest shit people say about black hair.
All right. So there we have it. That was an example of heat damage. He was from TikTok, but I actually got it off of right here on YouTube. So heat damaged hair. This is something that uh, loss of curl memory, improper use of styling tools. Hey, Miss Powell, check this out. Look at that, Cheryl. We got Powell's Beauty Barber and Beauty Supply representing. What's up, boo? You see, we still pumping them tickets, y'all. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that. How you doing, beautiful, beautiful Mrs. Maria Powell is in the house. So Cheryl, let's get into the topic of heat damage. This is to me the beginning of the natural hair movement attack on cosmetology because we jacked up everybody's hair with, hold on, y'all. If you know what these are, drop them in the chat. Do you know what these are? Drop them in the chat. This is the number one. This is the culprit. This is how we got it started. But the original damage to the hair, you know, it started with this, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Some people know what's going on. Sure, we got some old school. Come on, come through. Where y'all at? All right. They know what time it is. Some people in the chat are like, is it a sex toy? This is not a sex toy. Come on, y'all. Keep dropping in the chat. Tell them what this is, okay? All right. Marcel Arns. But in modern day times, these are the culprits to very damaged hair. That's right, Angel. Hope not. So, heat damaged hair. Cosmetologists started it. We started it off with the straightening comb, you know, burning people's hairlines and all this stuff. And that's right. I had to do it too. Walk around and make them click. The Marcel arms took it to another level. And then you have all this technology that's actually supposed to be protecting your hair from the heat. But people are saying that, you know, the flat irons are causing modern day heat damage. So, what is heat damaged hair? Can you tell us, you know, what that is?
Well, that video that you showed,
Uh-huh.
okay, and I hope I have cosmetologists in the chat and on with us. And believe me, before I start, we're not discussing anything that we don't teach at the Afro Hair Science Summit. This will be a very quick introduction to what we go through. However, let me say this. What in that video made you perceive heat damage? I am curious.
All right. I will play the video a little bit while you guys drop your answers in the chat.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, she said she
What
just
part of the hair is heat damaged?
What part of that hair was heat damaged? Here we
You know what I'm saying? We got that slick red, beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Long hair. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Oh. That escalated quickly, I ain't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? She's snipping this, snip. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta cut it, baby. Gotta let it go, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so now before we go, I'm just going to go out there. You said you thought the roots. Someone said the roots were damaged. Her curl pattern was gone. They said the bottom was stringy and stray. Someone said at the part. Now I just want to say I'm not a big fan of this term called heat damage. People come in with that all the time and cut it off. And what are y'all talking about? Anywho, the straight hair. Maria says the straight hair. Okay, we appreciate you guys. Monica is in the chat and she's encouraging everybody. If you haven't, could you please be so kind? If you like this kind of content, go ahead on and hit that like button, that thumbs up button. Shanette, what's up, Shanette? How you doing? I'm sorry, Shanette. She says the hair was relaxed with heat. The modern day info says their ends are compromised. So far, it's looking like the ends of the hair that the lady cut off. That's where people felt that it was damaged.
Mm-hmm. So if curly hair turns straight, that's not a natural way to relax hair, but you guys perceive it as damage, right?
Repeat that. Repeat that, mother.
Heat is perceived to be damaged if it does not allow hair to go back curly. But then we say heat is, we don't have a natural way to relax hair. And I like the comment of someone who said something akin to relaxer in heat, because that video is a person who had decided to not touch up her hair. That is, though, that strand is not heat damage. And let me just go ahead and say this before we get into it. You guys have to remember the woman's hair was about 6 inches long. And the hair always towards the end is more absorbable. That is where you have the porosity issue. It absorbs the heat, but hair towards the base will tend to be a lot more neutral and a lot more coarser, because it looks like she didn't get a touch up or whatever she had in her hair before. But because we don't really get introduced to the dynamics of thermogenics when we are in cosmetology school, we get it through European hair care standards and regulation in education. And straight hair uses very little heat to process their hair. It is either in a wet set on rollers or it's in a curling iron. We use heat in Afro cosmetology a lot more. So our education, you would think, would be up to par, right? So, but when you have a consistent amount of metals, our tools are metals, which means that the hot combs are heat conducting, right? Those are metal. That is what we call a strong heat conductor, which means we have to temper them before we insert them into the hair. Right, guys?
Right. Come on, hair survive. What we do? Woo. There we go. Come on, y'all.
Right. So that we have to cool them down, because no matter if we put them in the oven, when we take them out of the oven, that is not the heat. We have to shake it. So we got to cool it down, then we insert it into the hair. The problem with that is that curly hair in all protein does not heat damage very easily. And I think that when we say heat damage, we are only saying the hair does not return back curly. And that is our litmus test and our yardstick for indicating something is damaged or not. We're not talking about indentations, keratin denature, or holes or burnt spot. We don't determine it like that. We determine it if the hair does not return back to curly, which month after month, year after year of pressing or even flat ironing, it depends on what the shape the hair is in at that time. But if you have high processed color, obviously chemical treatments, keratin treatments, along with low hair that is fine, you will get the end hair towards the ends those cuticles will begin to stick and glue together after a while, and they will not let water in. So the hair can receive the curl trigger and then go back to curly. So that is a very natural way of relaxing, but most people, the natural hair care world, deemed if you don't curl, then the hair must be damaged. And seeing that's a convoluted way of looking at it, because they have never been into cosmetology, so they are not perceiving it quite accurately and precisely. They're just saying total damage, and that is not quite the case sometimes.
Okay. All right. Everybody know. Okay. All right. Dewey says exactly true. Sandra E said, go on, Cheryl. Go on. I'm just gonna say it the way you know. Go on, Cheryl. I break it down. Go ahead on and break it down. So when the hair is stringy on the ends, that's not that your hair is damaged.
Well,
That's
that particular client, you have to remember those hair strands. Let's just say if we were to press that hair out, those ends still would have been thin. That's thinning. That is not quote unquote hair damage. I mean, heat damage. That is the majority and the strength and the thickness and curl was at the base from 2.5, 3 inches out. The stringy part was the rest of the 4, 5, and 6 inches.
Mm-hmm. Because the hair, I think what happens, I don't know, I mean, got to be surprised, but a lot of people, when they think of hair growing, for some reason, they think here, they don't think here.
Mhm.
And so I think that confuses a lot of people when it comes to, where the integrity of hair, how the longer your hair gets, the older it is. And naturally, you don't have to really do anything unless you're cutting it, then of course you won't see it. But if not, if you're manipulating the hair with or without heat, the hair just naturally loses something on those ends because it's further away from the scalp. And that's very, very hard for people to grasp because we're just so, it's gotta all be the same.
Well, because hairstylist does not have the language to explain to the client, and you have never seen a flag fray at the base towards the pole. It always frays at the tip. Then the fibers become unraveled. But it's because of the aerodynamic, the movement with air. If the flag never flown, if it never moved, if it never did anything, it would not come unglued from the ends. It would not start to fray. But that is a dynamic of a combination of movement and wear and tear. It's not a natural occurrence, and heat did not, because heat, and you guys know that when you guys wash your shirt and you want to have a nice, beautiful, smooth cotton shirt, what do you want to do with those fibers? Those fibers love heat. Too much heat, of course, will brown and break and burn. But the right amount creates a smooth, silky, nice, smooth, unwrinkled cotton fiber. It is the same thing with hair. You get more shine the more heat you apply, more strokes you apply. That's when you guys start moving that hair and it starts reflecting the light and it looks like it's cast a nice little shine and glisten. So that you can't achieve without heat.
Right, right.
Right. You have to have scalp healing with heat.
Right.
Everything you must do with heat because heat creates the healing process. Your body, well, your head is the hottest place on your body. So you're going to get heat. You have
Rather
heat.
you
Well, at the end of the day, most people will say, meditate until you get the kundalini. Well, what's the kundalini? Fire.
that part,
Right.
that part.
Right.
Yeah. So here's what another before you get to that point. So I'm gonna. So here is a very popular school of thought that we hear about heat damage. Here we go.
There is levels to heat damage, and truth be told, just giving you the real, severe heat damage cannot be reverted. There's, as I said, levels to heat damage. So some of us may just get a little bit of loosening of our curls. Some of us may get a more drastic damage of our curls, and some of us may get severe damage of our curls. Another truth about heat damage is that you can't avoid trimming and cutting, and for a number of reasons. When your hair is weakened, so what heat damage does is that it breaks the bonds, the protein bonds in your hair, and when those are broken or damaged in any way, your hair becomes inherently weaker.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, they foxy out here. It's levels. Did you know that, Cheryl? It's levels to this. It's levels. How many people in the chat have you heard that one? Have you heard that there's levels to the heat damage, and that the whole thing of the bonds breaking? And I mean, I'm just like, where are they getting this stuff from?
They're not getting it from anywhere. No one told them that. And I know you guys swear that they have gotten, and if they did get it, they got it within the last 23 years of the Y2K natural movement. And you guys, and I am not anti-natural hair care movement. What I am is that they are the most severely undereducated generation we've ever had in the industrial hair care in our whole entire legacy since Madame Malone started the vocation. And it's just unfortunate because they left the epicenter of where the intelligentsia was. Now, could we improve? Absolutely. But unfortunately, no one told her that. She made that up as she went. But let me just say this. The lack of curl, because natural hair care people, or the people in that particular movement, are coiled prone. They're pro coil, which I don't have a problem with that.
Right. Yeah, I get that.
But the lack of and the degrees of it loosening up or not returning when it reaches a water trigger, they deem as something that is wrong. However, they are also the generation that brought us what we call curl definition, which means take afro hair that our mothers and grandparents was satisfied with and just forked it out and the way it was. That generation is what gave us the language of curl definition, which means make your hair try to do something naturally with gels, alcohols, and sprays and things of that nature, and create a ringlet and make it do something unnatural that it doesn't do.
Yeah. Let me just.
They kind of have this an opposite language, but as long as the hair does not return that, and if you flat ironed it or whatever the case may be, because I use heat and flat ironing and heat application to actually course correct, because some of the hair those cuticles, and some of them as like scales, they're going in so many different directions. They need to be turned in the same direction, and then the hair will be so much more palatable and flexuous to be able to be more conducive to style transition and softness and things of that nature.
And he can also help when you have those mineral deposits on the hair. You could use the heat, especially with the braiding, the use of braiding all those waxes, those resins. Sometimes you will need to use the heat to kind of melt this stuff off of the hair. So on that next shampoo, you'll get a cleanse. So heating implements are very, very useful. They're very helpful. Here's fun. I would agree with you on this one. I've heard it, and I've even heard it supposed licensed cosmetologists talk about this bond breaking, and I'm like, what y'all talking about? Like, people just take the stuff and they go too far. They sound really sophisticated, but to those of us,
you cannot denature protein via something that is also natural called heat.
Yeah.
And we're going to go through a slide presentation, but I know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say the coil is the optimal in the zenith of a strand's health, and that is not the case.
That can never ever be I mean, I had a lady come in and Harrison Vaughn, I take it you're a cosmetologist, beauty according to my why. And I'm Sandra, I'm sure you've heard this as well too. But people will come in the salon with their hair and they'll have those pieces like, well, my curl, it's got this little, it could be a little string or something like this. Let's use this piece here. And they will say stuff like, I know you're going to have to just cut it all off. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. I mean, at our salon, it's not happening here. The analogy that I give to them is like, look out, because we have this big picturesque window in our salon. I mean, it's huge. And across the street are these big, beautiful trees. And it's a little bitty tree in front of our salon. And so what I say to my customers are, do you think all of those trees, all of those leaves on that tree look exactly the same? And they'll be like, no. I'm like, do you think some of them have little spots on them? They're kind of losing their color, their shape a little. And they were like, yeah. I'm like, but is that tree still beautiful? And they'll go, yes. I'm like, and then so is your hair. Leave that shit alone. Stop that, guys. Now that's what I say. Marks M says, here we go. Finally, Cheryl, you said that. Thank you. Thank you. That's my hair. Love your hair as it is. You guys got to bring those expectations down to reality. Cheryl has some wonderful slides. Remember, this is a precursor. We're giving you guys a little inside scoop of what happens at the Afro Hair Summit. We hope you guys are really just loving this information and take this, really, really wholeheartedly. So go ahead on and again, hit that thumbs up button. And then Cheryl, do you want me to start? We're going to get a little bit more technical. We hope by now at this point in the podcast and the live that you guys are starting to really accept that those what they call stringy pieces, and if all your hair is curly, I think what's her name, Miss Foster, she said, can you wear your hair without it being straight? And I wear my hair and I want people to see my hair as is. And it's I think that's a horrible thing to say if your hair doesn't all curl up, that your hair is damaged. I mean, I walk out, people like, damn, your hair look good. I'm like, thank you. I mean, so
It's a very strange thing, because the curl that they're trying to get is that ringlet. That's not natural to their hair.
No, and they keep
but they keep getting so confused, because if we had no water and we just press some Afro sheen like their grandmother and mother did in the 1960s, real first Afro hair movement, it would be Afro-ish. But those ringlets that they're trying to get there, that too is unnatural.
And then they keep asking. And come on, beauty, to according to my wise Miss Powell. I know we've got Harrison Vaughn and I. We're not the only ones in this chat. How many times do customers come in and say, "Do you have something like Ladosha? How can you make your hair curly?" I'm like, dude, you can't make that. Like, what you want a carefree curl? Then they get all upset. I don't want no chemical. It ain't happening, dude. Like, I don't have that kind of Afro hair now. Tomorrow's gonna get a little bit more bushy. I'll show you that too. But people get just really like, you cannot.
I wear ponytails all the time. The front part of my hair and certain parts where it's going up, just by repetition, because it's a protein fiber. It has memory. Just memory. It goes back to its last pattern. Once it gets a water trigger, some may go back to the birth. Some will go back to the practical way you've been wearing it. It is the concept. And that is one of the reasons why Afro cosmetology is not natural hair education. Afro-cosmetology gives you and parlays it to you of the why, when, where, and the cause and the science, as well as the artistic perspective of what you think you know about hair. It's very important. And because we don't get introduced to beauty and chemistry and in artistic aspects and methods and mechanics, and we don't understand the power and the dominance of the coil and what it can do temporarily, hopefully, that it does, return back to your satisfaction. But just by virtue of mechanics of doing something the same way all the time, it's like somebody will have a part in their hair and then the scalp will automatically divide in that way.
That's it.
They have to switch it.
It's kind of like, isn't it like you buy a pair of blue jeans? I remember Jordache. Who remember Cheryl? What kind of Jordache did you have? One with the horse or the lines on the back?
No, I'm sorry. I had Sassoons.
Oh, excuse me, Boo. Who had Gloria Vanderbilt? Who had Calvin Klein? Who had Levi's, Wranglers? Now y'all know them blue jeans was real stiff, right? And as you wore the jeans, they loosened up. But nobody said, I'm throwing my blue jeans away because they didn't go back to the natural stiffness. I'm like, are you guys following us? All right, we gotta understand it's a fiber. And like she said, shoot, look at this right here. She said she had them all. Oh, do we? She said I had all of them. You must have been rich, girl. You had hold on. All right, is it Gloria Vanderbilt? Y'all remember that? Come on. All right, she had Gloria Vanderbilt. She had Sassoon. If you had some Sassoon, your ass was balling, okay? But yeah, so these are fibers. So Cheryl, can we go through some of these? We're gonna get a little bit technical, y'all. Let's go to school and let's start with some slides here. Take some notes now. Don't be out here trying to use Cheryl's stuff after that. No, I'm just kidding. Don't be doing that, y'all. Come on, give credit. I give credit. By the way, those videos was from Shayria Lasso. So go check her out. She's right here. Hold on. She said her mother's friend gave them to them. Okay. Hey, Michelle Allen, what's going on? What's going on? So check out. Here we go with these slides. You want me to get started, Cheryl?
Absolutely.
All right, so here we go, guys. We're going to get into the seriousness of heat damage. We've moved away from the pseudo. So all of that stuff about if your hair is stringy, that you're cute. What did she say? You're something bonds. I don't know what the hell she was talking about.
And let me just say this. You guys do know that your European counterpart, straight hair counterpart, thinks their hair is damaged because it won't curl. It won't hold a curl. Y'all need to just crazy. So she think her hair is damaged because so she's under. So even straight hair is under the premise that the curl, the S pattern, the body is the zenith. Natural hair care thinks that curl is the zenith, but it's designed to be worn and stretched and manipulated and conformed, and it will mold. And if you do it repetitively, it will do that.
It's a fiber, guys. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to do that. It's meant to stretch and pull and go back. And think of those blue jeans. So bring your expectations down. Stop watching those pseudo suckers. How's that one? That's a new word. You heard it first right here on the dumbest shit that people say about black hair, that if your ends or something, you got to cut them off and start the big chop. Oh, cut that nonsense out. All right, so let's get to it. So here we go. We have some images here that we're going to get into to help you guys understand. So if you want to take some notes now, if you're watching this post live, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Cheryl does come back through and she answers your questions. If you have them, please let's be interactive. That also helps us get into those algorithms, guys. So let's keep these questions going and let's come on with the first slide. So here we go, Cheryl. Let's start off with this one right here. Let's talk about heat. Let's get them to understand heat.
Right.
I'm going to put these hair savant. This is for me and hair savant. We're going to start off with these two right here. So let's talk about some heat.
Well, let me just say this: it's separate from the tool, because your understanding of what heat is may not be the same thing as temperature.
Come over this way, Cheryl, so they can see you.
Well, they can hear me,
Right.
right? Okay.
Right. We want to see you too.
Right. But heat is a moving energy transferred by a medium called air. So when you have hot fire, when it moves through the medium of air, you call it and know it as heat. Okay. And energy, once it moves and it transfers through a medium called air and fire, that is what you feel as heat. It may be heat that you feel from a heater. Next slide. Okay. So to make sure that you guys understand how that particular works. So when we teach Afro hair science, heat is one of those subjects that gets misconstrued many times by many professionals and consumers. When we teach heat, we don't think of heat as the element of fire. And the difference in our way that we teach is that so you can fundamentally understand that heat as an element, air as an element, fire as an element. For instance, is this the same heat you feel when people are processing in terms of color? When you have this heat, when your hair all of a sudden feels hot, or you're giving a relaxer and your hair all of a sudden feels hot, is this the same heat when you use warm water? And we have to know the difference in the element. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so we are also in the Afro Hair Science Summit. We just expose you to the entire spectrum of trying to change your premise and understanding what is actually harmful heat. Okay, so the objective here is why we need to know the proper gauging of a surface for a style choice. Okay, then to determine the surface stability. Okay, then the heat parameters that most manufacturers will tell you what is the proper gauge on your flat iron. Okay, and we also are going to teach that hot hair does not curl. Okay, so when you recurl hair, it actually gets looser. Okay, so we're gonna, at the Afro Hair Science Summit, we teach the element from that. So there is just more aspects to heat than just understanding hot versus cold. Okay, next slide. And this is the most important. Okay, because we engage with heat when it comes to tools. Afro Hair Science Summit also teaches the alchemical differences between hot and fire and heat and the elements. But here is where we get behind the chair. Flat irons in the spectrum, in the wavelength. Okay, when you guys see that flat iron there to the upper left corner, that is infrared heat. Back to the right, that is what we call convection heat. Most of us have a convection stove or an electric convection stove. Okay. Conductive heat, which is those Marcells and hot combs, is that little red circle there to your left. It's called visible or direct heat. And right above there is where the industry overnight flipped over, got away with the Marcells and the hot comb, which is metal. That is conductive heat, direct heat, which means it will burn the surface and usually burn the hair in half and break it off. But ceramic heat is that yellow circle there. It's called infrared heat. And you notice that little wavy line there, which means that the heat is slowed down so much that it moves through the hair. And it actually also moves like, let's say, radiation. Radiation doesn't even need to touch the surface of your skin, right? And we've all burned a piece of paper. And after the burn of piece of paper, the piece of paper will fly up in the air. It'll get so hot, it'll fly up. But once it starts to cool, it'll turn black and it'll return back to the floor. So conduction, direct heat is a from the actual metal to the surface. That's where we talk about heat damage. That's when you guys say, "Oh, you burned my hair." That's when you'll start smelling hair. The convection heat is from the source through a medium, such as a ceramic plate or your ceramic iron, okay, or your T-file cooking pots and pans, right? Radiation does not need a medium. It will heat up the air like a microwave oven, but yet it goes directly to the surface. So hot is accelerated heat. Cool is energy that is decelerated, decreases. Okay, so that's what we probably perceive as cold. And so, next slide.
Okay. Yeah, we have a couple of questions too. You want to
Yes,
pause and
absolutely.
take? Here,
Yeah,
let's.
sure,
Okay,
sure.
we're gonna pause and take some
You can take the
questions
slide.
now. Monica said we have a lot of people in the chat, y'all, and she said this is our moderator. Now don't let her come down these aisles. Now you don't want Monica coming down these aisles. And she says, "Could you guys please be so kind to do this?" Let me go down and find it. Hold on, Monica. Monica asks, "Can you guys do this?"
Pump me on, pump me on.
All right, there you go. Remember, I got that from my homeboy Asar Imhotep. We got some cool pseudo killers over here on these out here on these YouTube social media streets. So check out Asar Imhotep, Dr. Oya Ma'at. Don't forget the pseudo killers. So many wonderful people. Also, the people that you see here that were posting their videos. Make sure you go and follow them. And that was Shay Ray Del Sol. So go check her out. She does have some cool content. She's a little bit pseudo, but that's okay. Go ahead on over there and check her out. So Cheryl, here are some questions that we have right here. We're going to go back to the slides. So she wants to know, can you put, Dewey wants to know, can you put some kind of protection on your hair, like hair grease or some kind of like moisturizer, or just before you put the heat on the hair?
I'm not trying to be funny, but if the heat does not do its job, which means give you a silky smooth surface, you would not want it, you would say that it didn't work. So why would you need something in the middle of that when you want that silky surface? You have to remember, a grease is a pseudo shine. The cuticles aligned is a authentic shine. The surface, you have to remember, protein loves heat. Okay, you don't need a protective. Heat and keratin protein, all protein fibers love heat. They use heat. Now when I put heat with water and you guys get in those steamers, where's your protection then? You don't need protection from the steam. You understand what I'm saying? Now, in your defense, I understand, because sometimes there is no cooking oil that's gonna save your chicken or protect your chicken skin from the heat. And I understand that the manufacturer gave you that language to make you buy something else. That is what you call abuse of consumerism, because it is not saving you from a burn. You're not going to hydrate a surface so much that it's going to protect you from the heat. It just, science and chemistry and elements and alchemy does not work that way. What you need to do is have a hydrated hair strand within the cortex, and the cuticle is healthy. Then you go with the heat, and it's gonna dance for you. It's gonna bounce. It's gonna shine. But someone told you that you needed some heat protection. There is there is not anything that's built to protect you from heat, because if I don't get your hair straight and I told you, well, it's half-ass straight because I put some protection on it.
And let me be the first to testify. When the heat protectants first came out and hair savant, I know you know, because like you said, you better bring the word. I'm gonna tell you right now that, and I'm not trying to down. I mean, I'm not. Please, I'm not saying don't buy this product or whatever. But there used to be this product and it was called hot sauce. Everybody, it looked like a bottle of Tabasco sauce. It was called hot sauce. And so everybody was just coming in with this hot sauce. Like, can you put this on my hair as a heat protector? And I'm like, what? Like, you don't want to protect your hair from the heat, because then it's not going to, you're putting all this wetting agents on it and it's going to be counterproductive. The hair it naturally conducts the heat. Now, depending on your look, like some people want the hair to be like Aaliyah, that look. So you use grease for the styling, you know what I'm saying? But you don't. And they was like, try it. You got to try it. I tried it. When I tell you, the complaint was what? My hair reverted. Duh. So I never understood the whole craze with the heat protectants. There are some products that when you put on the hair, like Cheryl said, it's going to make that hair look and perform differently. But you guys just have to be a little. Yes, there it is. You remember that stuff. And it's funny because they don't even make more. You can't even find it. I knew I wasn't going crazy. Yeah, it was called hot sauce. So you can't even find it anymore. So we're just saying, buyer beware. Bring your expectations down just a little bit. Okay. So here's another question before we go to the other slide. Okay. Shanette says, what about titanium? And we do see that a lot. What about titanium and tourmaline or diamond? So these said that the plate has diamonds on the plate. So what about minerals infused onto flat irons? Thank you, Shanette.
Remember, guys, in that slide, there is a spectrum of wavelengths, and that is how energy moves. Okay, and how they move. Now you remember that those wavelengths. Now in the Afro cosmetology metaphysical conversation, we get into metaphysics, and because the wavelength, the more increase, the more that the wavelengths get very short, and they look like what, black people? It looks like a coil. The slower the wavelength becomes, which means it decreases in energy. Okay, it gets slower and it gets what? Wavier, less wavy, and then it goes limp. Okay, that's radio waves. Okay, so my whole point is that ceramic irons is a material. Now, whether you add a little bit of other metals like tourmaline, and then you start getting into diamond and all of that, those are to make the wavelength within the plate, in the surface and the coating of the plate, interact with the hair so it moves in a convection heat, which means it's going to go up. Now, what I want to do in the industry is to make the hair dryer in which you guys sit under. I want those dryers and the technology, which we should be responsible for and to create. If we had an organization, we should be pushing for more of a convection sitting dryer instead of direct conductive heat, which means the air comes from the top we should have hair dryers that come from the bottom because the hair only dries at the surface and then it takes 2 hours in any case. But that is what we should be talking about instead of this 20th century bullshit about heat damage and all the, see, we're still dealing with the myth. However, but we have to understand that because we have been miseducated, we don't even know how to buy heat tools. We don't know what to make heads or tails. But when you come to the Afro Hair Science Summit, you're going to know what you're buying, why you're buying it, and you're making your choices based on the results and the surfaces of the actual result of the hairstyle of whatever you are choosing and how according to the results you want to make and the quality of the hair fiber you want your clients to have. But you can't make the choices with any education and knowledge because you're too busy buying it because the plates are red or something that says diamond in it, but you don't really understand it in and of itself. That certain plates and certain coatings are trying to get you a different. Now, the question here is hair an insulator or a conductor? Don't cook it up, look it up. I'll give y'all a minute. You muted, sweetness. Yes, you're muted, Ladosha. You're muted, Ladosha.
Sorry. Okay, I said she said. There we go. Okay. Hey, I'm a better hairstylist than I'm a podcaster. Okay, so somebody says Dream Berry says it's a conductor. So hair, what are we gonna look up again?
Is hair a conductor or an insulator?
Okay, hold on, guys. Let's look it up, guys. Is hair a conductor? Oh, it popped up. Okay. There are unsubstantiated claims that hair conducts electricity. However, hair expert provides ample evidence that hair is an insulator. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, come on, hair savant. I was wrong. I was saying conductor. Hair conducts heat. Hair is an insulator. See why we need to be educated? Okay, Mark, I was saying the same thing. Okay, so Dree was just saying question mark conductor. We need investors for Cheryl's vision. Okay, come on now. Now that's what we're talking about. Y'all not come on,
hey, Dree. What's that?
Playing. Okay. So where you going with this? Hair is a insulator.
Okay. Well, now let me just say this.
It says at best it's a semi. It could be a semiconductor, but it's definitely not a conductor. Oh boy. Woo-hoo-hoo. I gotta go change some of my YouTube videos. Anywho, I digress.
Well, one of the things that in Afro cosmetology is that an afro, which means that if you used to stick your hand in an afro, it was hot.
Say that again.
And when you used to stick your hair in a person's curly hair, afro, their hair, it would be hot. Okay. And it's a strange thing because the strands themselves will act as a semi and more of an insulator, but it's the totality of the field, the afro, that will conduct the heat. But that is a whole conversation for a whole nother time. But because they are an insulator, that is why the hydrogen bond is temporary. And when you heat style it, It is only temporary until it hits what element?
Water.
Moisture.
Moisture.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Because, right, now, why is the hydrogen bond so weak?
Why is the hydrogen bond so weak? I don't know the answer to that. Anybody wants to take a stab at why is the hydrogen bond in
You can
hair?
right. You can press your hair, and as soon as you go outside, and you dare not go outside in this season because it's got moisture in the air. And if hair is supposed to be dead, it would not be reacting to the elements. Which is
Oh, I wasn't gonna say that, but you went there. Hair somebody, did you hear that? All these pseudo suckers out here. Hair is dead. I'm like, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm like, what y'all keep telling people that? We was in the salon arguing that when you die, your hair still grows. I'm like, are you guys better not be saying that in here?
Well, that goes to my last slide.
Okay. So we don't know the answer to that question. So
Well, only because it's not hydrogen bonds are not, they don't have another bond to bond to, so they're unstable. So water that they don't have, it's only hydrogen bonds and hydrogen bonds in the air, so it doesn't have another bond to protect it. So the moment it feels another hydrogen, it is going to neutralize that hydrogen bond. Okay, now if you had another bond on it or another surface such as oil.
Come on, Cheryl. She getting us today, y'all. Come on, hit them like buttons, y'all. I'm over. I can't even. Monica, please watch the chat because I'm like, here you go, here you go. I hope y'all understand. Can we get a lap for the hair oracle? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Get a lap, get a lap, get a lap, get a lap. I can't pay attention to the chat now. Cheryl, you killing us. You hurting them bad today. I'm sorry, I got a little excited.
Right. Or what you do, what most Italians do, they'll freeze their hair so it won't suck, or it won't know it's in a water element because the surface is protected with the gel. So
there
it does.
Hold on. Freeze the hair. Hold on, hair servant. I don't know nothing about this. Hold up. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Say it again.
Gel. It will harden, so it creates a protective seal around the hair, and it'll stiffen, so it doesn't. The elements cannot penetrate and wake up the cuticle. So it'll be hard and stiff. And then when they put their hair up under the shower and wash it out, then the hair will be susceptible to the elements. Then it will be interacting and getting curly and frizzy and doing this and moving and things of that nature. That's when you have another bond on the hair. And it doesn't react to the water that's in the atmosphere. But if hydrogen bonds are left to the atmosphere, they will neutralize each other.
Right. You know, one of the things that I learned in the Afro Hair Summit is that, you know, we are taught this stuff in cosmetology school, but we just become so freaking lazy. And I spoke up for myself that when we go to the classes, you know, that the hair care companies offer, it's very intimidating. Like when you want to challenge some of the stuff that they say, and you're just like, well, scientifically, and they're like, stop that. You know, you're interrupting the class. But we have to use the science, guys. And so when they talk about those bonds, I think people kind of look at the piece of paper. They don't want to talk about, like she said, the atmosphere, the actual water. You know, we just always think product and those images that they put in front of our eyes. The science speaks, you know, it's very, the science don't care that we're cosmetologists. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Right.
The science, like, I don't care what you are.
Right. So, in other words, when you're dealing with even chemicals, cosmetologists need to know, and hair practitioners and trichologists need to know that there's a difference between swelling, hot skin, swelling, wound healing versus inflammation. See, inflammation is not swelling. Swelling is the process of wound healing, which is going more to your alkaline side. Inflammation could be hot, but it is caused by a acidic environment. Make sense?
Yeah.
And that's why
Yeah.
Dr. Sabi or other health practitioners will say, mucus is usually the cause, but it is an acidic nature. But we get the wound healing, our scalps, or we'll have a chemical burn or or something, or a hyper skin dermatitis or something that will be very itchy and our scalp will be red, and then we'll have some kind of fungus and it'll be nice and hot. That is not the same thing as inflammation.
Okay. I hope you guys are. Wow, this is so good, so good, so good. So we're getting it. We have a couple of more slides, but before we do those slides, let's talk about some of the things that people say that can repair the heat damage. All right, and the most popular thing we hear about repairing heat damage is protein. So let's watch this clip, Cheryl, and let's hear what ye have to say about how to repair heat damaged hair. Here we go.
And today we have a really in-depth explanation on how you can revert your hair from heat damage back to healthy. We are experts at this by now. Yes. Like we said before, we are not rookies at this. We have done this recently, and we did this years ago, back when we started to go natural. If you have never heard of this product, it will save your life. This is what we use, but it also might kill you. That's true. I want to make a disclaimer because on the bottle it says it's for professional salon use only. Now, we are not professionals. We do not have a salon.
That's what the problem was.
And we are not by any means supposed to be using this at home.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Come on, guys, let's give it up for the two Ashleys and Angelique. Beautiful twins. They are experts. They are the experts. I hope. I feel like crying, y'all. And there's no attack on the girls. The girls are beautiful. Bless their beautiful hearts. Go check out their YouTube channel. They are cute as a button, but the information is some pseudo sucker ass shit. Okay. Cheryl, the experts, let's start off with who started. They said, what about, where did it go here? They want to know, like, well, what do you do with this damaged hair? Basically, like proteins. I lost it because I just got a little. Oh, so what's happening? Here we go. There it is. So what's happening when people are using heat regularly and get a lot of breakage and split ends? People do run to that Afro G like no other. I mean, it's got the pH in the center. I'm like, okay. And by the way, we do not represent Afro G, so please go to them for more details about their product. So what about a lot of breakage and split ends when people use heat regularly and the protein?
I think that when you let me get something that's really common that we can. Let's just say you have burn a hole in your shirt, right? And protein could contract the cuticle surface. Okay. Now, can you put that last slide up just so I can give them a
Yes, here
visual?
we go. Here we go, guys.
Okay.
Last slide. Hold on. You want this one or the other one? This one or
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
okay.
So you will see vertical lines that are starting to curl up, and they are catching the light within the microscope. But
Am I
if you,
am, am I
you're,
right with this right here? Pointing to this?
you're on the right slide.
Okay. All right.
So when you go further into the dark part, you will begin to see little tiny little indents. Protein with protein contracts. It just makes, it doesn't fill the breakage, because of course, if you use alpha-G, okay, it is a sulfur based product, right? That's why it smells the way it does. But it only makes the burnt hole smaller. That's why you got to keep using it. See, if you solve something, you only have to use it one time. Amen. Right?
Amen. Come on, church.
But
Church.
you have to
Amen.
use it. Now, those white lines that you see, it is where the cuticle can roll back on itself. That is where you guys perceive the hair being stronger. It's not that the hair, the dent or the indent or the diameter loss because of the burn, if that part is filled. It just means that it's that part is just smaller. Now, let me ask you a question. You notice that alpha-G don't save it from breaking. It just, after your shit has broken, and then you put it on. You notice that, right? Okay. Now you gotta have to remember, I was doing hair when alpha-G came on the scene. Okay, and my father, I remember being in the salon, being a sophomore hairstylist. That means my second year of hairstyling, and Mr. Morrow was his expectations were very high for me, right? And we would bring that stuff in the salon, and my father would say, "Now, did you use it to prevent the shit from breaking, or did you use it after the shit broke?" Okay, and so that is when, and you can attest, and Mr. Sharp can attest in your area, we had to create a science. Now, let me ask you a question, and you guys can look it up. Don't cook it up. Don't say that. What type of protein is alpha-G?
Hold on, guys. Come on, let's have some fun. What?
And don't hairstylists, professionals. Don't get back on here talking about no amino acids. Okay,
What
so
type of protein
is
alpha-G? APHOGEE. Here we go. This is a unique protein treatment formulated with proteins and magnesium.
now, because at the Afro Hair Science Summit. Now, is that what everybody else got?
Did everybody else get that? Let's not go crickets in the chat.
Come on, professionals.
Mark said,
Okay, so
Mark said dangerous.
wait a minute. So the reason why there's crickets, I'm assuming that they never told you what kind of proteins, because there's collagen, right?
Right.
There's different types of proteins.
Right. There are several. Yeah, there are a lot of proteins.
Several different types, right?
Right.
The number one that you guys interact with all day, every day, as professionals and as natural hair practitioners is what kind?
Keratin.
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 Right? So what what protein does keratin need?
More
Okay.
keratin.
Well, there is no such thing as cuticles in a bottle.
I mean, synthetic, smarty. Synthetic protein. I'm sorry, synthetic keratin. Bootleg.
Anyway, make a long story short. Now, what is, so that means since I cannot put the cuticle back on that fell on the floor, right? That y'all burnt off, that stuck on that Marcel iron or on that hot cone, or that you know what I mean? Whatever. Whatever you guys did, right? Okay. Since I cannot replace that, the best thing I can do is trick the surface to create what we call a metabolic process, right? And the best catalytic and the enzyme and the protein that mimics the surface of keratin that can be welded into the surface of where that particular portion was lost or shrunk, or the diameter loss, is what we call is enzymes. Okay? Because enzymes, proteins are glue. They love little cracks and they love to sit right there in them. That's
what
their
y'all know about them enzymes? Come on now. Y'all weren't ready for that, was y'all? They like, damn, Cheryl.
Right? And once you put those on the surface, no water. You put that on dry hair right there on the particular, all the strands, right? And you put them and you heat them, because if they're glue, they need a little help. Now, you can go Google. I'm tired of you black folks just believing anything. Enzymes, right? Enzymes.
You want us to Google enzymes?
Yeah, just go Google them. And enzymes are, they love to go into the cracks of something. Okay. And
all
then
right, here we go. Enzyme. What's up? We got our Canadian babies in the house. What's going on, Judy? Please, guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. This chat is on fire, Cheryl. They like, damn, girl, you coming through. Enzymes. Here we go, guys. Don't cook it up. Look it up. All right. A substance produced by a living organism which acts as a catalyst to bring about a specific biochemical reaction. Damn, Cheryl. Shoot. We ain't getting, listen here. Y'all better buy these tickets. Hold on while they're marinating on that. Let me play our little Afro Hair Summit commercial here. We got it going on. Where did it go? Here we go. Right here. Here you go.
If you would let me do your hair. Let me do your hair. Let me do your hair. Let me do your
Please, guys, come on and get ready to join us on Monday, October the 23rd at Powell's Barber and Beauty Supply, where Mrs. Maria Powell and her wonderful husband is going to be welcoming us, as well as the Ohio Association of Beauticians, aka OAB. The tickets are $65. Lunch is included. If you are an OAB member, your ticket is only $60. A night stay is only it's under $125. This is very affordable education. If you're near near Cleveland, come on by. If you're in Detroit, Kentucky, come on, y'all get in the car and come on and ride over to the Afro Hair Summit. Our 4 topics, our 4 courses that Cheryl is going to be teaching on. Number 1, she's going to be talking about coil mechanics. You're going to get your education on coil mechanics, a little bit more of what we're getting today. Also, she's going to go take a deep dive into hair loss, alopecia. Specifically, she's coming to Toledo to help address that, because that was a hot request at the Afro Hair Summit here in Cleveland. And then her 3rd course she's going to teach on is going to be the future cream wear and hardware. And then last but not least, she's going to be debunking a lot more of these natural hair styling myths. And as you can see in this chat, she has debunked so much natural hairstyling myths that it is absolutely pathetic. We hope you are loving your hair authentically and just getting a lot of information. So now we know that enzymes is a substance produced by a living organism which acts as a catalyst, get things going, to bring about a specific biochemical reaction. What does that mean for hair? Should I bring back up that picture with the hair?
No.
Okay. All right.
What it means is that now the conditioner that we put on the hair on dry surface, the enzymes in that particular conditioner will find its way to the uneven surface areas. Then once you rinse them, when you go in with your flat iron and your hot iron, they will weld into that particular crack and stop the breakage and adjust the pH, because enzymes are catalytic, meaning they are catalytic without being steroidic. Does that make sense? So now that is one of the reasons why Mr. Sharp in your area said the reformation of yesteryear made him so much money, and that we are going to reproduce that, and that will be available at the Reverence Design Team Salon.
And let me tell you, this reformation, I haven't used it, but this stuff must be so good, because Miss B came here to one of our very first episodes. She got in the car. Just go back through, and she drove her ass over here to say, I want to talk to Cheryl because I want me some reformation. I said, well, what is that? Okay. So and I hope that by now what you guys are gathering, that this whole anti-chemical, anti-whatever is not good, because we need to advance the science of hair. We can't do this, guys, with just wheats and berries. Somebody put in the chat, they wanted to know, was wheat protein, is that good for hair? So we'll do a whole nother thing. We'll do a whole nother I think they want to
see the thing is that you can't have anything foreign to the surface of hair that interacts with pH and everything. You can't use food grade, folks, because it's not food grade. It's too far it's too foreign. It's food. It's supposed to be through your gut. Now, Miss Esther told y'all last week, what is for your digestive system is for your metabolic catalytic gut. It don't work on surfaces.
Yeah, okay? You can't. The food
what is cosmetic, and because the research that Mr. Morrow did, and let me just say this was specifically made for Sally Beauty Supply Company. This technology was to take the curl out so we could go back to the relaxer. Nonetheless, and that is one of the reasons why this is my life. I'm not telling you, I'm telling you because this made my family black money, black wealth. This made 60, 70, 80 years. Black folks, the richest people in the world. Black hair care. If it is good to get me to have an inheritance. It's good enough for y'all to have an inheritance and to pass it down to your kids. And for Miss Powell to have her beauty supply to be able to carry this particular, product lines, we need to go back to that exclusivity so we can have an advantage in the marketplace. We cannot continue to be competing with the Rite Aids and the Targets.
All right. That's
So
it.
that technology came from an era where it enriched Black folks. We can't just say now we want to go natural, but we the brokest generation out of all the hair generations.
Yeah,
And
and
we
it's
obey.
oversaturated, and the market is oversaturated with the same
Yeah.
stuff that, and people are not happy with their hair. We are seeing a lot of people come back with things like she said. We don't have the language, the vernacular. This is my first time ever hearing about enzyme therapy for hair. I'm sure other companies are doing it, but again, she's talking about we can advance this, and they're going to reintroduce it. Also, by now, we hope that you are definitely understanding that hair, heat is very safe on hair. You really, if you prep the hair beforehand, which is why you need to come to the Afro Hair Summit, we ditch I'm just going to come back through with like a video and show you guys how our back bar was like so junky. And now we're down to like 3 different types of shampoos. We used up all this stuff. We got rid of all those treatments, those deep conditions. We threw all that stuff out. We do have hair grease because some hairstyles, depending on the look, because you still have to style the hair, but you don't have to do all that, because if you prep the hair properly and you want a certain look, particularly that flowy, swingy look, you just wash it, condition it, and dry it. And just the way Cheryl teaches, you don't even need any hairspray. We have some videos that I'm going to be showing you what some of our customers have said. It's just the salon visit is quicker. The money is faster. People wonder, I was wondering, that was my thing. Hell no, Cheryl. Some bullshit you talking. I was going off in that class. Y'all just don't understand. Because I was like, oh my God, you about to just, Cheryl, you tripping now. I'd have partnered with the devil. But boy, was I wrong. I was wrong on every level. I was wrong, but I put my ego aside, and Cheryl just said that. Are you just showing up for money, or are you trying to solve customers' problems? And I was just like, I'm scared of being poor again. I won't get on welfare, Cheryl. I won't be on welfare no more. Cheryl won't be. If you've been on welfare once, you don't want to go back. I'm sorry. I was having a moment. But I trust the process, and I'm telling you, it works. It works. Cheryl, let's get this last slide because they still rocking this out. I'm going to let you guys go. Here's this last slide. And again, we are talking about heat damage. So here's the last slide. Here we go right here, Cheryl.
Now, in the class, that particular video is moving. Underneath the surface of the skin, what creates growth is heat, called electromagnetic energy. And in that cellular, particular bulb is a moving factory, and it is not fed by blood. Let me say it again. The tissue is kept healthy through the blood, but the follicle bed is an electrical mechanic manufacture. Okay, there is something. Right?
I'm sorry, y'all.
No. And I
I'm
don't want to give it away.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm fine. Okay.
She just said the blood don't nourish the hair. It's electro. I'm okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. My mind is just freaking blown. I mean, I'm just blown away by that comment. I know I'm not the only one. Okay. Completely blown. I'm going to put the diagram back up. And what she's saying is that in the hair bulb, there's heat, there's electromagnetic energy that's responsible for hair growth. She's not saying blood does not supply some nourishment. What she's saying is that Blood does not make the hair grow. I am just blown away with this information. Cheryl continues to just completely. I know I am just completely I'm shocked. And this is the type of information that was taking place in the Afro Hair Summit. When you see that visual come to life, it will just blow your mind. So I'm going to put that back up, and she's going to continue again because that blew my mind. And so, Cheryl, repeat that sucker one more time about what blood ain't doing.
Okay, now what I wanted to leave us with and to encourage us to be in class together at the Afro Hair Science Summit is very important. We're ready to go.
Oh, there. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and in that little square video, I do show you guys that the hair follicle is a moving factory. It is not it is not fed by the blood from your food. Your food goes into your blood and then it goes all the way up to your scalp. That is not quite how it works. But I wanted to encourage you guys because we have a very thorough presentation. That particular, in other words, in the name of the subject of heat, it takes heat and electricity to be able to create a cellular cells that are manufactured to grow hair. So in other words, don't just look at heat that it's bad across the board. We are going to be more sophisticated and get more sophisticated in our training. And we are going to understand that the scalp needs electricity and heat. Our skin needs heat. We do shaves. We put heat on skin to contract and to expand our pores. We don't open and close. Stop saying that shit, okay? We don't do opening, closing like doors and windows, okay? It's just an expansion and a contraction, okay? So that is what we are going to be talking about. But when you see the video live, you're going to be able to see how the hair in the bulb is a constant cellular division. And as they cellular division, the shoot, the hair goes from the bottom and it grows from the top. And that is why we teach it from that. Okay.
Wow. And so in closing, Hair Savant says, how many times, can I sing this, Hair Savant? How many times have we heard increasing the blood flow to the scalp? How many times have we heard that? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that blood.
Right. The blood keeps the tissue healthy. The dermis, the follicle has to sit into a tissue and a subcutaneous tissue to make sure that it's healthy. The fat layer is healthy, spongy, moist, and it stays healthy. Okay. But it does not have anything to do with plugging up. That is an electrical charge, just like your phone. That is a whole
and that's happening, and that's an internal process, right? That's not something we can take some electric probes and put on our head and
right. Well, the whole thing is that the moment you pluck it out, one of the reasons why we pluck versus we just shave is because we want to take the whole disconnection of the follicle out. And see, and once you just take the follicle, the hair out of the bowl, what is intact? The the erecti pili muscle. The moment that pili muscle detaches, that is when you don't have the genetic material cannot regenerate, and that's when you start getting the smoothness, right. And you don't get the edges to grow back.
Right, she's talking about this muscle right here, guys. So
that is what is detached in the natural hair care world. When you keep pulling it in pulling it. It doesn't have any give or elasticity, and you keep pulling it in an opposite direction, and the hair goes toward the floor, and then you guys keep coveting length versus volume. And curly hair, and it's amazing that natural hair care people do not understand that
Yeah.
curly hair does not grow long first. It only follows under the law of weight. Once the hair gets heavy, it defies gravity, and then it will go on the shoulders.
Right.
At that point, there's no length here. There's only a
Right.
length around the perimeter. But my point is that when that erector pili muscle is detached by consistent, inappropriate, consistent pulling, that is when you're going to get into your imploding of the whole mouth.
Wow. Very, very interesting. And remember, inside this bulb is the electromagnetic activity that's taking place. That's heat inspired, and that's what's causing the hair to grow. So there you have it, guys. You are getting a clear understanding. We hope you walk away with, at the end of the day, leave that heat damage stuff to those pseudo suckers. And let's cut this nonsense out. Curly hair is not the epitome of beautiful hair. Somebody just said in the chat, Ladosha, your hair looks nice. And I let make no one make me feel bad because I'm straightening this. I'm doing everything to this hair. Okay, I'm an African. I'm gonna color it. I'm gonna stretch it. I'm gonna shave it. I'm white. I know it, but y'all ain't gonna see it because I'm vain. I am so vain. I hope y'all can tell by now. And my hair is perfectly fine. Don't worry about some of this crazy stuff that you're hearing. At the end of the day, it's all about the Benjamins. They just want your money. So please make your reservations. Someone in the chat said, I live 6 hours away. We're not doing this online. It is for licensed barber and beauty professionals. If you are a natural hairstylist, we know you don't have license, but you are more than welcomed to attend. If you are, coming from another state where they don't offer the license for natural hairstylists, but if you are a loctician, just your natural hair person, we're not there to police. Okay, that is not our job. We are here to educate. So you are more than welcome to attend. It's only $65. Visit afrohairscience.com. The lunch is a chat and chew. Cheryl is just such a phenomenal educator. I mean, it's like KRS-One. Class is in session, so you can stop guessing. Oh, by the way, he was here in Cleveland this weekend. So at the end of the day, here are some of the things that we're seeing. OMG goodness. I am in awe. Hair savant. Yes, she is truly the hair oracle. Here you go again. Thank you, Beauty According to Miss Y. So informative. There he is. I'm right at the point where I'm just enjoying it. Miss Foster, we love you. Sandra, we love you. Miss Morrow, with the electromagnetic. You remember about the ultramagnetic MCs? You know what I'm saying? They don't know about that. Yeah, too young. Okay. All right, guys. We will be back next week. There was a lot of requests in the chat right now, Cheryl, to talk about protein for hair. We were slated to talk about sweat and hair. So I'm gonna go. We did ask you guys if you give us what you want, we'll talk about it. So Cheryl, do you mind talking about hair protein? There's a lot of questions about what is this stuff? Olaplex. A lot of questions in the chat about proteins. Most of the treatments I have list wheat protein as the proteins. They throw them away. So the proteins, I would imagine people are buying a lot of proteins for heat damage. Please, y'all, stop. Don't believe this stuff no more. Okay. Just cut it out.
In order for protein to be, I think, the way the consumer is buying it, the consumer wants durability, it wants shine and strength. The problem is that the manufacturer of today is assuming that you know that you're going to have to use it 15 to 25 to 35 to 100 to 200 and just keep buying it. They're assuming you know you have to do it over and 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 over. To professionals back in 80s and 70s, 80s, early 90s, we have got to get back to the hair care that the shit gotta work the first time. They have to see results the first time, and it can't be no ambiguous work. It has to be able to heal, preserve, or conserve, or prevent. We have to be able to diagnose and then prognose and then prescribe. We are the physicians of the beauty world. We cannot have products that are not, yeah, but the maintenance aisle is a very dangerous place. And let me just say this: Olaplex, when Olaplex is one of those right above maintenance, and then they have this look of the product looking like it's a very smart brand, and they've well thought out, and we've tested and read. That is assumed. That is why it's on the retail market. And because in the industry we had reserved for professional use only, it wasn't professional use only because it was difficult. The professional use only is meaning that we are preserving certain product uses and application for a professional so they can gauge it and fix it and create a different program to where they can use it and be able to create a program for you based on, but I have to give them medicine and cosmeceuticals that solve your problem the first time, not over and over and over and then hopefully then shit at that damn point the hair and grew out a little bit and he had snuck in a trim. The shit is gone at that point. The breakage is on the floor. Then you say, "Oh, okay, Olaplex still having that out for cheap food."
Yeah. Professional
But
only does not mean that it's more expensive. People think professional only means that it costs cheaper. Guys, please, for the love of God, if you just love God, please take your ass to school, okay? It's not gonna help you. You can't watch this video and get it. Get your money, save it up. If you do 65 and you divide it into them, you got long division, and you got 30 days before you get there. You're talking about $2 a day. Put $2 a day aside. If you're gonna stay in a hotel, make it $5 a day. Put it in. Remember that back in the day? You know how. Hold on, I'm ready for it, Cheryl. Put it in the jar, okay? Put your money in the jar. Save up and invest in your education. Please don't inbox me because I don't know. I'm going to school just like you. I sit right, don't I, Cheryl? I do not stand. All I do is introduce Cheryl and I run my little happy ass back to my seat and I sit down with my pen and my paper. I don't know either. I am just as guilty. I am just as ignorant, but I am doing something about it. I am not going to continue to say that same stuff over and over again. I've got to be a better professional. So don't be ashamed that you don't know. Harris Savant and I are in the chat. We are real live people, and we're telling you guys what we're hearing, what we're seeing, some of the stuff we've done, some of the stuff we've not done, but you've got to get your education. And Cheryl is going to be in Toledo, Ohio on Monday, October the 23rd at 9 o'clock. Class starts on time, y'all. Come on now. Class starts on time, 9 to 5. We're going to get your money's worth, okay? Lunch break. Lunch is provided at Powell's Barber and Beauty Supply, located in beautiful Toledo, Ohio. So come on, and we're going to be there having a wonderful time. Maybe we'll go out for some drinks. I'm a hairstylist. What the hell? All right. Is there a list of hotels? Yes. All of that is on the website. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see the hotels. Nothing. Toledo is a small town, so it's not very expensive at all. And I'm not saying that $100 is cheap, but you can definitely stay comfortably for under $130, tax included. Okay. At least I am. I'm just saying. I'm a little cheap. I'm a Scorpio. Okay. Cheryl, you want to wrap us up with anything on this topic of heat damaged hair so everybody can woosah? Don't worry about your little stringy pieces. Don't go cutting it off. Put that stuff. Stop buying all that protein and shit. Put that shit back. We don't do that. We don't do deep.
Right. Let me just say this: it is not. It is not the consumer's imagination, and it is not the hairstylist's imagination that the quality has been poor within the last 25 years. I'll be the first one to say that. But it is akin to a cause and effect. The cause and effect is for some of those legacy brands, and all of that has been lost. The natural hair care disconnected from cosmetology altogether, which I understand some of the reasons why. However, this is our inheritance. We've got to get back to it. And thank you for the Powell's Beauty. They've been in it a long time. They've seen a lot come and go, and they also are supportive of the greater vision for us to get back to a very responsible, a very technical and innovative and creative era, to the point where we're bringing our brightest engineers, our brightest chemists, and alchemists, and business ideas. And so, and this is just part of it, but correcting some of the things that is been said in the last 25 years is part of that. And so I
All
think
right.
hanging
Okay,
on.
This has been absolutely wonderful. We're going to be here on Thursday. Check this out.
Welcome to Planet Pluto Shoot.
That was some fucking dumb shit, dog. Come on, y'all. Give it up for your homegirls, Ladosha Wright, aka Key Lolo, and Cheryl Morrow, the Hair Oracle. Join us this Thursday at 10 o'clock p.m. EST or 7 o'clock p.m. PST right here on this YouTube channel. We are going to be talking about celebrity hairstylists and their products. So what gives a celebrity the kudos, the bona fides to make a hair care product? How do we know if their stuff is good, bad, or indifferent? Bring your favorite celebrity products. I'm going to go to Target and I'm going to buy some stuff. I'm going to go live and record myself and say, yo, I'm going to buy some of this. I'm going to take my money and buy it and just see what it is all about. So some celebrities have some good stuff, some doesn't. And Cheryl and I were just going to comb through to help the licensed professionals out. When you join us on Thursday, that podcast is geared more towards the professionals in the industry, but everybody is welcome to join that podcast. So thank you guys so much for that. Yes, we are you guys superheroes. So you pseudo suckers, watch it, pseudo suckers. Watch out, or we coming for you. All right, guys, you know what I say, what we say when we're always signing out, right? We're always talking about a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and for sure, a whole lot of hair. But check it out. If you ain't got it, don't want it, you got some stringy pieces. You're talking about heat. Y'all know what I say. Don't worry about that stuff. Don't worry about it. Your little ball patches. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You got the little pieces missing. Don't worry about that stuff, okay? Because all of that is beautiful too. And so are you. Always remember that, okay, guys? Monica, our moderator in the chat. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much, Monica. I love you. Sandra, don't forget to join us. That's our third bootleg host. You got to get her in the chat so we can see what you like. Sandra, go get your makeup and stuff on, girl, whatever you want to do, so we can bring you in the chat, all right? And then we'll be back here next Monday. And Cheryl said, yes, we can talk about protein and hair. So bring all your protein questions and let's get it ready to rumble. And don't forget to visit Afro Hair Summit. Afrohairscience.com. Deuces.